All right, so we pretty much start the same way every month, with starting with your feet together, step apart so your feet are shoulder width apart, and then sink from your hips. Let your hips bend slightly. Let your tailbone tuck forward. Arms and shoulders relax. Come up and make a Valentine heart shape. And then push down. So kind of work our way from the top of our body down. Hands come up, chin comes up. Hands drop, our chin drops slightly. That helps so when we inhale, the airway is much more open. So you're inhaling through your nose. Try and exhale through your nose or through your mouth. Everything loose, everything relaxed. Eyes are heavy, vision blurry. That helps you start to feel and concentrate on what your body's telling you. Inhale deep. Squeeze the tongue to the roof of your mouth. Exhale. Tongue goes to the bottom of the mouth. Everything loose, everything relaxed. Try and become more aware of what's tight in your body. So then this other set we've been working on. It's about 18 exercises. Each one is a little bit different than the last. Cross your arms, twist your fingers and wrists. Separate, make the triangle shape again. We push down towards the ground as our hips sink down. So I'm pretty much conscious of every step with where my weight goes. If I shift my weight here, it's easy to turn this foot. And then I shift my weight to this leg, and then forward, and then it's equal weight on the legs. Arms again cross, spiral. Turn to the front with your shoulders, one hand open, other hand's a fist, and you try to stretch your arms around a big tree. And then I shift my weight to the back foot, so I can pivot my whole hip, knee, and foot. Come to the cat stance, grab the ball. Heel steps forward, bow stance. My hands do this, kind of reaching above my forehead, my other hand to my hip. Shift back so you can pivot, feet close. This is one of the few exercises, this one, that we repeat throughout the set. We only do it like 3 times total. Next one, I shift forward, get the back foot going straight, come in and then to the horse stance. We open up the chest, we scoop. Open up twice, and then come in front with your palms up. And then try to pull in your little pinky finger, each finger, the first digit, lock it with the thumb, and then pull back to your hips as you sink down. So why don't we try that much again? We're about halfway through with that, or third maybe. So everything's smooth, everything fluid. Inhale. Exhale. So I sink down, and then I come up slightly, and then I sink down for the final part of the movement. Pivot to the left, step forward, inhale, exhale. Feet together and then apart, shoulder width, inhale, exhale. Get the back foot straight, horse stance. So it's going to be 2 of these circles, 1, 2, and then in front. Pull in as we sink down. Next part. So I want to get the hand over to about my temple height. I can just lift it and do this, or I can do a spiral, and then the hand comes over. So again, just up is okay, but if you want to put more wrist, forearm, and shoulder into it, we go back, around, like we're holding a plate, and then to where I said we finish. This arm comes up, we try and stretch the elbow across. I can't go any further, I come back, hand on top, hand underneath, and then we dip our chin, our shoulders, and the spine follows. Grab on the way up, head goes up, hand comes out and gently twists. And we wave goodbye, scoop, turn the foot out, and as I shift to the right, my other foot turns in and I reach for the wall. Right? Like I'm holding a plate, reaching it all the way to the wall. So let's try that much and then we'll start over. So now we got the rain, we got my voice, we got the music. Hopefully everybody's keeping it in proper tolerance for what's okay with their hearing. So again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So I'm trying to make these hands kind of going opposite of one another. So that's why I end up reaching a little bit high. Inhale. Exhale. Scoop once, twice, and then arms extend out in front, squeeze in, lock with the thumb, and sink back. So here's that little spiral. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, chin first, then shoulders, and then the top, middle, and lower parts of the spine. So I'll give you the other view from here, from the side. I grab, my chin's gonna get in the way, so I gotta arch my back, and then the hand comes out. So I could just wave with one hand, but if both hands move, kind of like both hands are doing the waving movement, then you have more of your body being engaged. And reach. Next one, we come back to this right foot being towards the corner. It's this exercise again, but we keep the arms fairly low in front of your navel. And then from here, this comes past our face. Here's that twisting, spiraling, and then our foot moves with our hand. Shift your weight onto the left. At that point, the arm comes around the top and comes down in front. So it ends up looking like this from the side. So I was just here a moment ago. Here's the side view. We end up facing right that way, but to the front. All right. The next part's going to be to come in, turn the feet to the corner, spin the ball, find your hip, your side, your shoulder, slide the sleeve down. One hand by your face height, the other hand by your elbow. Back to the front. Spin the ball. Squish it. One hand goes up, like the heel of my hand is lifting up by my face. The other hand goes opposite down towards the ground by my hip. All right. So let's back up a few steps, and then we'll take it from when we were here. So it's 1, 2, reach in front, sink down. Do a little spiral. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. If you can reach the ground, that's the goal. Grab. Exhale. So watch what I do with my hips here too. I wave goodbye. I shift my weight. Shift back. That lets that right foot have less weight on it so it can pivot. And then I reach out. Close together and then apart. Stretch the shoulders back. Shrug or hug the tree, but this time arms are lower. So then from here I shift back. Turn the foot out with the hand. Come to the toes first, and then the heel, and then reach in front. So it's like the blade edge of the hand coming down and pulling up. This other hand's by my funny bone. Pivot your foot. So my feet face the left corner, back is arched, and then rounded. Arched, and then rounded. Back to the front. Spin the ball, squish it, push up, sink down. So we're almost there. We got like 3 more exercises. Fingertips come in together and pull towards your wrists. And then your arms pull to the center of your body, and then you sink down and squish. And then I shift left. Hands are gonna like sweep across the floor. And then up. This other hand comes to my hip. Give you the side view. The arm goes up on an angle towards the ceiling. I pull the toes up. And then we'll do this similar thing on the other side. I step forward, give you the side view again. These arms circle back, make the triangle, follow the center line of your body as far down as you can go. And pull your toes up at the end and let your head drop at the end. That is the whole set. Take a deep breath and exhale. We got it, right? So it's only 18 exercises, right? So it's a little bit easier to comprehend. Even if you can't remember it, you're doing it. 108 exercises, there's a lot of the forms that are 108, and usually they just keep doubling. It goes from like 18 to 36, 64, and all the way up. It keeps going. But 108, that's like a symbolic way that they'll do it. Or they'll go up 8, 18, like that, and then by the time they get 108. So anyway, that's just a little bit of the side story with it, but they'll just keep adding on like another layer, and then it's another level that you have to try to remember. Oftentimes it's the same movements, it's just something a little different. You know, you do something with one hand this time, the next time you do it with the other hand, or the hand position change. It's all the same stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse, it's just, you know, it's like a great book. You know, you can get joy from reading the first chapter because it's a great book. But by the time you get to the end of it, you're like, oh, wow, I want to read another book that's that thick. So that's kind of how the forms work. This is a short one. So let's try it again. Inhale. Exhale. Smooth and fluid. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. 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 So I'm just going to back up a little bit. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. So you notice my hand, it's level with my nose. My other hand's level on my funny bone. Shoulders relaxed, dip your chin, round your back. Back to the front. So this one we can also add, instead of just the arm movement, come over to here for a moment, try to balance for a moment, and then we come back down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Fingers, wrist, forearms, shoulders, spine and stomach. Sweep. So I start with my foot flat, and then at the end I pull the toes up. And then we do the left side. Foot starts flat, circle out. Find the triangle with your thumb and your index finger, go down. And then again, finish with the toes pulled up, head goes down. And then I just turn around, I take a deep breath, feel the wave come over my body, and I push it all the way down to the ground. So there is somewhat of the wave type movement that you'll see in some of the other Tai Chi forms. What's a bit different with this though, there's a lot of your head moving not in the same line as your tailbone. Most of the Tai Chi forms, your head stays over your tailbone. You continue to move in that kind of vertical plane. A lot of the Qigong exercise sets, that doesn't apply. Because there's other benefits to bending and turning. That's just kind of the way it is. So again, it's not advanced, better or worse, it's just a different set of exercises. All right. If anybody has questions, please ask, otherwise we keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Shoulders stay low, but still pulled down and back. And then here. Past the face, past the leg, toes first, and then the heel. And reach. Shoulder width, pivot to the corner, squish. Arch, and then round. All right. And then from here back to the front. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And so I sink my weight on that back hip. And then extend the arm forward, toes up at the end. Left side, inhale, hips sink back, exhale, toes up, head down. Inhale, and exhale. All right. So fortunately with the short sets too, you only have to move and back up a little bit here and there. It's not as much as do a bigger set. So inhale, exhale, inhale. As we get a little more comfortable doing this, try not to look at the ground too much as to where your feet are. Try to feel where they're at and if they're in the right spot. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In, out. So make sure that back foot catches up at the end. I'll turn this one out, and then by the time I shift, this foot turns so they both go towards the corner a bit. In, out. In, out. I don't know if you all need to back up every time. I just don't want to be right on top of the table. So come in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. In, out, in, out, in, out. All right, so again, like, you know, some of these exercises we do it one time on one side and then you'll never see it on the other. So this isn't like in the first half when we were trying to do symmetrical exercises. these, when you do them in like a different order, it's about getting the energy to go from one spot to the next. So we might be doing this, because it's not symmetrical, you know, it's doing one thing on one side and on the other, but it has to do with like the energy being squished or spiraled from one part of the body to the next. So it's kind of a different way of even thinking about exercise. When people run or they swim, they just want to get the limbs moving so as to get the heart and the cardio system hooked up. With this, it's more about by tightening and twisting and relaxing and bending, the energy goes, you know, like in chunks. You tighten an area, it gets stuck. You relax, and then it goes kind of to the next area. It kind of flushes the system, basically. So if you think of your body like this, kind of a simple hydraulic system, like your house, you know, you got water that comes in, you got water that goes out, the toilets, the sewer, the sink. Our bodies are not all that different. We've got a lot of valves in the house. Our valves are every time we do something like this, and then when we release, that's the valve. You stop it and you let it go. Every time we go from here to here to here, that's adjusting how much flow goes down to the feet and the legs. So a lot going on. The idea again, get the energy moving from one spot to the next. So we're going to lift our leg maybe a little bit more on some of these. That way you can work on the balance a little bit more. Come across. So instead of this just coming out, we can come up a bit, lift the leg, and then place it down. Not every step does it work that way, but like here, instead of it just going from the toes to the heel right away, this lifts up. And then you place your heel out. And then the next step. So we go from the toes here. Instead of it just sliding forward, we lift the leg up a little bit. And then we set it down. And then to the next part. Instead of this one just sliding, we come in. This will lift up. And then we step it out. So if you're not looking for it, you might not really notice it, but there's that extra balance happening. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. And then, like some of these steps, it really doesn't apply. And reach. But again, here, either slide it or we lift up for a second and then set it down. And reach around the big tree. This one, either step and slide to the heel, or step and then lift up, and then place the heel, and then reach. Here, lift up, set it down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then here, same idea, lift up, and then set it down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So again, lift up, then set it out. Exhale. Still run out of room. Turn. Place it in front. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So, might as well just turn it off. Come on. So, anybody have any questions on any of that? It's just all very complicated stuff from when you start getting into the details and the theories and all that stuff. But just following along and doing it, you know, it's all as much or as little complication as you want it to be. So, everybody good? Yeah. It can, or we can practice it like robots too. The robot way, there's a bit more of a like dynamic tension or isometric exercise. That's not wrong, you know, like if we were doing it, and, you know, it could be a little bit more robotic-like. It's not bad, but then however you practice it, that's kind of how you start to do other things too. So it's kind of a broad blanket, broad brush I'm painting with. But if you try and practice these things where it's all relaxed and fluid, chances are the other forms you practice will be kind of similar to that. Until you get to a point where it's like you can decide, okay, this one's tense, this one's relaxed, this one's fluid, this one's jerky. You got to have a bit of a proficiency to do that. But for most of what we're doing now, it's all just kind of smooth and fluid. So a little different than the Tai Chi set we've been working on. Same family, just a different branch of the same tree. So with this, every time you step, there's a bit more of that, the last thing that I was talking about. Instead of it just being where you keep your feet kind of safe on the ground, there's just a bit more, lifting up. So you'll know if you're doing it because your balance will be more challenged. Like, oh, got to be a little more conscious of lifting up and then placing it. So anything else you can stay after? So class over.